Hello everybody and welcome to RGL Season 4, Round 4 here at the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Of course, it is Welty commentating today alongside Ollie Smithson once again. And we're looking forward to this race. 15 drivers currently out there with 14 minutes to go in qualifying. And it is going to be a good race because personally I think Silverstone produces fantastic racing. And hopefully this round is going to be no differently.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got quite a large gap in the drivers' championship. It's 20-something points to that man, BMG Hawks, to VSR all rounder, who we're going to go on board with now. He's just starting a lap and he's heading down into turn 3 now. Turn 4 coming up, and he's got BMG Hawks in front of him, getting nicely out of the way. Heading onto the Wellington straight now, opening the DRS to head down to the end of the first sector into Brooklands. That nicely opens up with quite a missed apex there into Luffield, sort of a double apex right-hander here before going through Woodcut and onto the national pit straight, I believe this is, towards turn 9 now. Cops corner. Almost flat out, just a slight lift onto around 60%. Throttle for the Force India man as he heads through Aintree, Maggots, Beckett's, and this little chicane type of Chapel. A bit of a slide on the exit there for all-rounder as he opens the DRS onto the hanger straight under the F1 2019 board, heading down towards Stowe Corner, where drivers can be punished in qualifying and the race if they run too far wide. All-rounders just managed that nicely though as he heads into the club chicane to round off his lap, taking it in third gear, short shifting to fourth on the exit. He's going to come across the line on the soft compound tyres, and it's only good enough for 5th place. I actually expected him to be challenging for provisional pole there.
Yeah. It's at the early stages of qualifying, it has to be said. We've still got 12 minutes to go, don't forget, so it's not something to get too worried about at the moment. But I agree actually that he's probably looking to be a bit further up the order, although he's only 2 temps off, and to be back in 5th just shows how close it is up there right now. We've got Hawks, Shadow, Crescito, Rosberg, all-rounder, and JJ Rocks just under 4 temps away from each other, as Langman's just coming over the line now as well to go 7th, just to add into the closeness up top at the moment. So it's looking good for the race. It's a good prospect when you see all those drivers nice and close together, but we'll see how it continues really. But yeah, as you said, Hawks is currently leading the championship, just to all update you on that, with 68 points, 2 wins and 1 second place. He's been doing fantastically so far. All-rounder is second, 23 points behind him. Rosberg is tied on points for second, with all-rounder with Langman about 20 points behind, 19 points behind, and then we've got a lot of people quite close behind, but they're a long way behind Hawks, who's really taken this championship by storm recently, and he's out front in this qualifying session as well. So we were speaking before we went on air here. He's very good in qualifying, so we're probably expecting him to do very well in this session.
Yeah, absolutely. But somebody who hasn't had the best of luck this season is KJ Gamer. He's been involved in a couple of crashes, hasn't he? A couple on lap 1. A couple. Across all of his leagues, really. Hasn't been doing too greatly. And hopefully we'll see a change to that this evening, and maybe we'll see him back on the podium.
Maybe.
Sinners is in the pits. How about we bring him in for a pre-race interview? KJ, unmute yourself.
Is that him coming out? He's coming out the pit lane. Don't talk to him. He's coming out.
I'm on an outlap. That's fine.
Leave him alone. Oh, okay. He's
I didn't think you'd actually involve me here. I was planning to stay muted, but whatever. Hello.
Yeah, there we go. No bias in this stream at all. No.
Well, if anything, it's going to distract me. I don't care anymore that I'm going to stay in the party just for a bit of entertainment.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it's entertaining, because it would just be downright distracting if it was me, but there you go. Yeah, I know. He's in the party then, probably not in the during the race, because it might get sweaty and we might have too much to talk about, to really concentrate on other things.
Especially with us shouting.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it might be a bit distracting. I presume your medium tyre strategy has not gone that well, considering
Well,
they're going out
actually,
again
2022
straight
is
away.
alright. It's not terrible, but the field's actually a lot quicker than I thought it'd be.
Ah, well, yeah. So, underestimation going on there,
Yeah,
and yeah, so he's out there, as is everybody actually, so we should probably leave him alone because he's coming up
Yeah,
to
I'm
us
still
to
on my
start
lap
lap. So, we'll leave him alone. We've got some guys out there on laps who are up the front right now as well. We've got T10 Shadow just coming out of Luffield at the moment, getting onto the national pit straight of this kind of curved bit entrance to it. Woodcote, and then over the old start-finish line and Cox, but Shadow just a quarter of a tenth behind Hawks at the moment. Crescito just 400s behind him, and yeah, we'll see how close it's going to be at the end of this session because we've still got 8.5 minutes to go. These times are going to tumble before we get to the end as we come onto the hanger straight now. He's not up on his lap time actually, just 600s down, but he needs an improvement of at least a quarter of a tenth, as I said. And oh, very wide out of Stoke Corner, but it's not invalidated. That's dodgy business going on there as we come into the club chicane for the final time. Absolutely throws it in, and he's not pleased with himself by that kind of hand movement there, and he's down on his lap time. So yeah.
Ooh,
oh, Crescito, first man into the 25s.
Very impressive.
Yep. So that's the marker has been laid down now, but Hawks is equal to it with a 25 as well. So impressive lap times going on at the top of the moment. Grumpy Lion also over the line, 10th place for him. We'll see who's currently in the final sector. Send it is there, and I believe that one of the Renaults is also, but Rosberg is on an outlap at the moment. It's Zeus, let's see. So as just send it just goes into 7th there. Langman is setting himself up for a lap time, and so is Rosberg, but KJ is in the final corner now. He just grabs second gear briefly for the chicane. We'll see if he can get up the order just a little bit in this qualifying session. He gets into 3rd position, so that's not bad from him, just under 2 tenths behind Hawks, and with still 7 minutes to go. These guys up the top are in a good position at the moment. I'd say the top 6 are really the big contenders for this for the pole position at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And well, KJ, if you're listening, you're gonna hope that I didn't see that Stowe extension. I did. Well, I can't be bothered enforcing it. Don't worry, be safe.
Pretty sure everyone said they're going to do anyway.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
but
right, well, open
open
rebellion from everybody.
Yeah, this is the rule we've got.
Okay.
Extending at Stowe is not permitted. However, if you want to do it, then yeah, fine, go ahead. But if you get reported, then you'll have a penalty. That's the rule given. It's a bit complicated for some people to understand because not many people deal with, I don't know, some people just don't understand it, but most of them have, and well, we've made it clear. All-rounder jumps up into second place then, 200s off BOG Hawks. Very close in this, well, approaching the final bit of qualifying here. And, well, yeah, Cyril Rosberg is approaching the club chicane, and he's going to end his lap now, riding the curbs there for the second apex of the chicane, comes on the final corner, now crosses the line, and jumps up into 5th place, so just under 2 tenths of pole position. So not bad from the Renault. Adamar 2396 again on the hanger straight here, coming out of the Magnussen Beckett section. He is actually in on his ERS, so I would assume that he isn't actually on a lap. So instead, we're going to go on board with Mex Ashes, who, well, he's also not on a lap, so that's just gone absolutely amazingly.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is actually. There's some people on outlaps, but yeah, nobody's on full-on laps. We've got Langman out there, he's on 0S. Maybe Shadow is pushing. No, he's not, he's in low fuel mode. That's a horrific miscalculation from him. He's going to take a while to get back to the pit lane, but he should be alright. We're still 5 minutes to go. There'll be time for him to get round as all-rounder just comes into the pit lane as well. Just looking to see who's going to be the first one who's to really set a time here. Yeah, I think you're right there, with Rosberg just ahead of him. He's on the mediums, though, which is a slightly strange decision. He's trying to qualify and get into the top 10 on the mediums, because we've seen in the past that the medium-soft strategy might even be faster than the soft-medium strategy.
Oh, it's all gone horribly wrong.
Oh.
Well, I'm trying to turn my notifications off, but I've loaded Xbox accessories. Never mind. We're back.
Ah. Good. So you can all see what's going on now for the final 4 minutes. That's all right. As yeah, we're going to get a bit of a look now at the Silverstone circuit, in case you haven't seen it before. I'm sure you have. But yeah, we're going to get a full view really with Connor Eddy on the medium tyres. We'll see if he can get into that top 10, and that's the where he wants to be really, or around the bottom half, or around the 11th place mark, if you see what I mean. So he doesn't have to start too far back, but he can still start on the mediums, which is arguably the better strategy for this race and for most of the one-stop races, in fact, or at least where tyre wear is not really a big factor. But don't forget, we have safety cars, so they could completely shake up the race and mess up all of these guys' strategies.
Yeah, absolutely. Connor Eddy, just to come through Cox Corner now, turn 9 of, what is it, about 15, 16, 17? I have no idea, I've got a track map. Coming in through Aintree, Maggots, Beckett, and now Chapel. This lovely sequence of corners here. Interesting selection of ERS mode for mode 3, then up to 5, and then down to 4 again for this hang straight here. Down to Stowe he goes, and well, he's not going to use 4th to get the car turned in. He uses 5th nicely, and well, just getting the car rotated around the corner. Just a club chicane to go then. The final proper corner, as this final one is indeed flat. He jumps up, well, he doesn't really jump up, but he improves by 1.2 seconds, and well, he's just over a 10th off improving on his next position. Yeah, he's got a lot to go. He's got a lot to improve on if he wants to improve on any positions and well, get to the top 10.
Yeah, he has really, and he's not going to be able to get in the top 10, and unfortunately he's going to run out of time here unless he goes for another lap on these mediums. But if you do too many, then surely you're going to ruin your tyres, and that kind of defeats the object of trying to start on the mediums. So I don't really know what the strategy is for him there, but it's not paid out very well for him, and we're going to get some last minute predictions in here, Ollie, because the last round of times are about to come in, or they're about to start at least. Who do you think is going to take pole?
Cressito.
Ooh, bit left field. He has recently just come in the pit lane, by the way. He was on a lap. I thought he was going to go for an early one, but in fact he came in again.
No, I'm going to go for a Ronda.
But we're having last minute changes. Yeah, he's currently out there at the moment.
Because Cressito is coming back out again, is he? Let's be honest.
Well, not with this time remaining, no. So Cressito's not going to get pole. We know that already. But all-rounder may well do as we come down into turn number 1 now. This is going to kick off the last round of times, and Hawks isn't going to get another lap in here either. He's only... Oh, maybe he will, because our what do you call it, is not quite right. Our timer is not quite on point, so he may well get another one. And Cressito may well as well, because he comes out, but equally all-rounder and Cressito... All right, we're chopping and changing all over the place here. They're equally good bets, to be honest, all-rounder and Cressito. Very strong in this league so far this season.
KJ, if you're listening...
We've only had 3 rounds. He's on the lap, so he's probably not listening.
Well, he's probably not listening.
No, probably not. I would doubt it. He's actually coming out of the Luffield complex at the moment and through Woodcut, negotiating some traffic there, and yeah, it's getting a bit messy as he comes towards Cops, but we're going to focus on all-rounder first because, oh, big slide in the mid part and he backs off, so we can actually look at the Toro Rosso man here in 4th position. He's going to kick us off instead for this last round of times. Comes out of the final left-hander there at Chapel, opens the DRS down the straight. He is, so he's going to need another one in the final sector, but he's up here. So the time has run out for us, but it's not. Oh my goodness me! The open rebellion against the track limits there. He runs it well out wide at Stowe into the final chicane. Could this be the improvement that KJ needs? Out of the final corner he comes. He's gone wide, and he does improve. But I think he was probably invalidated right at the end there because he just hasn't jumped up anywhere. Shadow is on a lap right now. He's 3 temps down at the moment. We're going to need to see if he can improve. He's clawed back about half of that margin so far, but he's going to need some more of that as KJ retires. He's not going to be taking pole. Will all-rounder. He's just starting a lap as is Cressito, as Shadow just comes out the final corner now. We'll see if it... Oh, he's taking it there by a 10th. A 15.8 for him. That is interesting. Jumps right up there. So will anybody have an answer to that? Maybe CRO Rosberg can. He's just coming down the hanger straight now as well. Into Stowe in the Renault. And these times, the timer has run out now. As you can see, the checker flag is next to Shadow's name. We'll see if Rosberg can jump up from 6th to 1st like Shadow did. And Shadow's got a 10th of a second, which is quite a big margin, especially around this circuit in this league. So we'll see. As Rosberg only comes over the line, he's only 6th. Can't jump up any positions, I'm afraid, so that's not going to be good for him. He's going to be starting 6th or worse if things go really wrong for him. So then, it's going to be all-rounder. It's going to be the next one. He's very low on ERS at the moment, by the way, around about 10%. But we'll see if that's all he needs. Final chicane once again. We'll see if he can gain that 1.5 tenths that he needs. Out of the final corner he goes, and he goes to the top. That's an impressive lap time, but he's got contenders to come. Here's Cressito over the line now. Only 3rd for him. Here's Hawks, the qualifying specialist. Only 4th for him as well. He doesn't even improve on his lap time. So, oh dearie me, I really thought Hawks was going to take that. But in the end, he couldn't do it, Ollie. And in the end, it was all-rounder.
Yeah, it was. And, well, all-rounder and Shadow with locking out the front row there. Just over 1.5 tenths between the two drivers. Cressito and Hawks for the second on the grid for 3rd and 4th, followed by Langman, KJ, Sarah Rosberg, and JJ Rock. Grumpy line, just send it, rounding out your top 10. Adam R, Connor Eddy, Adam Lee, Mex Ashes, and Bursting Juice rounds off the grid. I did like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting grid.
I did that like Crofty then, didn't I? Do you know when you
I don't really know how Crofty does it because I don't watch him.
No,
so
I said, you know, like when you do a Grand Prix in the game.
Oh,
like,
on the game.
Yeah.
Oh right.
A little bit
I
like
haven't
that.
really.
I don't know.
I've never raced against the AI. I can't say I've driven the game now, but I haven't driven against the AI yet. So anyway, 15 of them ready then, and you've just seen them all. We're getting ready for the British Grand Prix. There's going to be no weather affecting things today, but there could be safety cars, and we'll see what these guys are going to do about their strategy. Yeah, we have had an inform. Well, you weren't here, but I was informed. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, dry weather conditions for the whole of this race. So yeah, interesting qualifying session. All-rounder takes it. I really thought that Hawks was actually going to steal it right at the end, as he did yesterday, but he didn't quite. And starting down in 4th, although it does look like the top 6 to 8 kind of region does look very competitive and very close. So we'll see how close they are really at the end of all this. Lots of people on the softs, as you might imagine. Only Adam, Connor Eddy and Zeus have started on the mediums, so I can't imagine that the differing strategies are going to be too violent here, but it could be interesting if there's an early safety car and somebody gets caught out, or somebody decides to go a different way than somebody else. You know, it's the beauty of having the safety car on, although there are some problems with it and some disadvantages to having it on. It's still nice to have it on sometimes, and we're going to see what it brings for us now. Who's your pick for this race then, Ollie? I reckon we've got a top 7 or 8 here who could easily win this race. Who do you think is going to come out on top?
Don't know. Who do you think?
I think it is going to be a lights to flag victory from all-rounder, actually. I was surprised with his pace there, and but pleasantly surprised, should I add. And it's a good opportunity for him to gain back some points on Hawks, who's not finished below 2nd yet in the first 3 rounds. So he's doing very well, and we'll see if all-rounder can actually gain back some points.
I'm going to go for Hawks, actually.
Oh, alright, okay.
And if he doesn't win, then I'll go for all-rounder. And if he doesn't win, I'll go for Shadow. And if he doesn't win, I'll go for Cressito. And if he doesn't win, I'll go for Langman. And if he doesn't win, I'll go for Rosberg.
Yeah.
If he does, you get what I'm saying. I'm just going to go for everyone. Then I'm right, aren't I?
You've got... Yeah, basically, you picked off the field there, so...
yeah, I've got a good chance of getting it right. so that I,
You
so
have,
that I
yes.
can so that I can say I told you so after the race.
Exactly, yeah. But it's not exactly a wild guess you're putting down here, to be fair. Don't forget, this is a bit of a DRS track, you could say. A couple of zones here, down the Wellington Straight and down the Hangar Straight as well, so there's plenty of opportunity to gain back some time in the DRS and the slipstream. And we're expecting a lot of overtaking here today because it's Britain, and Britain produces fantastic racing. And we're expecting no different here today. Excuse me, as the drivers just make their way to their grid slots right now, and we're going to see what happens off the start here. It's all-rounder starting on pole, Shadow second and Cressito third. What is the RGL British Grand Prix going to provide for us this evening? As the lights come out, the drivers are away. Bit of wheel spin from all-rounder there, but he covers off Shadow. Shadow ducks to the outside. We'll see if he can get around the outside, but he can't quite. Cressito's consolidated his third position as well. It's getting messy in the midfield as they all dive down the inside of turn 3. There will be contact here, but it looks like everybody's got away unscathed. Bit of side-by-side, and Langman's had a fantastic start. He's up into 4th. Hawks is down to 5th. Rosberg is being hounded by KJ for 6th position because KJ was passed early on, as Hawks is trying to regain some of his losses here. Down the inside into Brooklands, and in the background there's also side-by-side going on here as Langman tries to go round the outside there, but he can't reclaim that position from Hawks, but he's got the run going down to Cox. He's on the grass almost, trying to get down the inside into Woodcote, but it's been a very clean start actually, and not as much positional change as I was expecting. Yeah, definitely, and it is very important. We're going to be talking about that 1 second margin quite a lot throughout this race. As you can see, we've got 14 of them within the DRS train at the moment, so it's one long line, you could say. Only Asher is out of it. I presume he's had a spin or an incident on lap 1 because he's 7 seconds behind anybody right now, and I'm sure he's not that bad. So, well, I know he's not that bad, so he's definitely had an incident on this opening lap. But as you said, all-rounder leads it, Shadow second, Cressito third, Hawks is 4th, and those top 4 haven't changed at all. Langman is 5th. He's up there from a lower position in qualifying. Rosberg in 6th position, KJ 7th, and yeah, everybody's just in one long line here, and they'll be consolidating those positions just for now. It's hard to pass without the DRS, although saying that, it's hard to pass when the person in front of you's got DRS as well. And penalties are big around here, not only post-race ones, but in-game ones are pretty big as well, so you want to be avoiding them as much as possible. And if you do get one, excuse me, then you're going to be dropping down the order quite a few positions, because as you can see, it is extremely close, and the DRS has been enabled now. We'll see who is in the DRS and who isn't. Grumpy Align is clinging on at the moment to this group. He's actually managed to get the DRS, so he's survived the first 2 laps. Arguably the most difficult laps of the race for some of these guys who haven't got the pace of the front runners. And yeah, so we've made this group now. It's kind of split in 2 into a front 7, as we kind of imagined earlier on in the race. But everybody's made it. All the favourites for the race, you could say, have made it into the top part. And track position is going to be important, because losing time around or getting past cars is going to lose you time. So you don't want to be caught behind any midfield runners. Oh! Yeah, I could see that Langman is definitely struggling at the moment, though. He's got the tail wagging out of corners. He's not particularly strong. Oh, down the inside for KJ. Could be contact here between the teammates. Need to be careful of that one as KJ just pulls wide and aims to get the better exit. Here he's tried to get the traction down, but Langman, he's actually done quite well there. Having the DRS as well, he's going to use that to defend. Here we go. Into Brooklands. Will he make the dive? He ducks to the right. Oh, he's gone for a late one down the inside. There could be contact then. Whoa, there nearly is. I think there was a slight one. Is KJ just going to send it here, is he? Well, it's a risky one, and Langman gets a very good exit there. Actually, in the slipstream of Rosberg now as well. But I'll tell you who else is looking pretty racy at the moment. BMG Hawks is looking all over the back of Cressito at the moment. We've got a yellow flag further back. Adam has had a spin out of the field, and he's going to be down at the back of the field, I'm afraid. He's got half a front wing, and he's going to be hoping for a safety car later on in this race. But as we said earlier, passing somebody who's got DRS as well is difficult, and KJ and Hawks in their struggles to pass are currently proving this. But as I say that, KJ is closing on Langman, swooped to the inside very late, and it looks like he's pushed his teammate extremely wide. They're both off the circuit, and now they go side by side into the chicane. Here we go. Oh, dearie me. It's side by side again, and Langman hangs it round the outside. He might well have got a warning for that, but he's receded the position as well. KJ is through, and it is very difficult to pass, especially at Stowe, because it's not really an overtaking opportunity, you have to say. Yeah, there was no team play going on there, I can assure you, as there's another yellow flag. It looks like that's Connor Eddy off the road at Brooklands, rejoining the track very slowly there, just to make sure that he doesn't hit anyone, as Adam is also just coming for a front wing change and a new set of hard compound tyres. As we said earlier, he's going to be hoping for a safety car later on in the day, as we got the leading four at the moment very close together, as Shadow just gets the grass on the exit of Maggots and Beckett's there. But nothing doing up front at the moment. As we said earlier, hard to pass when you're in the DRS like this, but looks like Shadow is working extremely hard to stay with this group, because his ERS is down below 10% at some points. Yeah, absolutely, and looks like we have made the choice, the natural choice of the top four being the contenders for the race win, because we've got a 2.5 second gap nearly to CRL Rosberg and KJ kind of, but they're not really battling. They're just kind of near each other at the moment. They're not battling at the moment, as Cressito, good run out of Cox, and I think that BMG Hawks is also strong. Oh, big, very wide, and a big slide as well for Cressy, misses the apex completely at the first part of Magnets, and that's going to put him under pressure from Hawks, although he has still got a 4/10 margin. He's not going to be under pressure through Stowe there, but missing the apex through the first part of Magnets and Beckett's is not ideal. We just saw how really loose you can get and how scary it can get when you're offline through there. It is, actually, and it also, so else it does, it makes for a short race, so it could, if we have no safety cars and it continues to be dry, we believe it's going to continue to be dry, but who knows when the safety car is going to come out. It's going to be, it could be under 40 minutes this race, which is quite remarkable, but if you think about it, you'd never really grab the lower gears here, only maybe at the club chicane and the loop down there at turns 3 and 4 is the only real time that you grab the lower gears here, so it's going to be a short race. A very, well, these 50% races are basically sprint races, and this is even more. Oh, almost everybody's in here. All-rounder and Shadow making incredibly late moves. I think they were looking in the rearview mirror there, reacting to Crucito, who was the first of those to jump, and the front two decided to join them. Looks like it's mediums for everybody.
Yeah, my mic was on mute for some reason. I'm not too sure. Why?
Might have been on mute for a long time then, that could be a problem. But there you go. We've still got Hawks in the lead then. He's got 3.5 seconds nearly on Rosberg, who is battling, well, not quite battling, but near to KJ, as I said earlier. KJ's managed to get that TRS and he's managed to get himself further within that, so he's going to be saving a bit of fuel, saving a bit of ERS as Rosberg's down below 25% at the moment. KJ's nudging towards the 50% mark. But someone who's really using their ERS right now is BMG Hawks. He's been saving it behind Crucito, and now he's gone for the overcut. It's a bit unusual. We've seen the undercut, it's a lot more powerful, but given that he's got ERS to use, Hawks might be able to make this pay off.
Yeah, quite possibly. Obviously, they've rejoined there in 7th, 8th and 9th of all-rounders Shadow and Crucito, and well, we're going to see if Hawks comes into the pits this lap and has managed to pull the overcut off. He does, so we're going to get on board with Crucito, as that's who was nearest on the track. Excuse me. And well, we're going to get on board with the Red Bull and see exactly where he comes out, because if he's managed to pull the overcut off, because, well, we know Hawks has got a lot of pace because he won Germany by a good, I think it was 10 seconds, and absolutely destroyed the field last weekend. And yeah, so on board with Crucito, we're going to see where Hawks comes out. He's just patrolling down the pit lane now. I believe he has made his pit stop, or he's been passed by all-rounder, been passed by Shadow, but will he get passed by Crucito? No, he doesn't. He's managed to jump Crucito here, and he's rejoined in a net 3rd position, and that is going to be crucial for Hawks' race, because it's going to mean that he's, well, it's one less position he's got between himself and all-rounder, his championship rival.
Fantastic strategy from Hawks there. The overcut is rarely used because it rarely works, in all honesty, but he's made it work there. I was on board for a little bit.
We've got a bit of deja vu with the two Toro Rossos here as they head down towards the Luffield section, Brooklands and Woodcut. And well, I think Langman Yeah, good. Oh, Langman trying to get the inside of KJ
Oh,
through
big
Lovefield
slide.
corner. Yeah, absolutely. A big slide for KJ on the exit of Lovefield as we go through Woodcourt on the run down the national pitch straight towards Cops. Langman's just going to slot in behind. And, well, I think he came out of the pits in front of KJ, didn't he? I saw, well, he was definitely in front on the time in telemetry tower. But with the warm tyres that KJ's had, just building... hang on. No, sorry, I got that the wrong way around because Langman pit first, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Yeah, sorry. So KJ managed to... well, he actually got jumped by Langman then. And, well, yeah, from the undercut. And, well, KJ, surprisingly with the colder tyres, has managed to... get back in front of his Torosso teammate, but that's meant that he's now, what, 2 seconds behind Ciro Rosberg, and, well, he's got all the work to do once more.
Yeah, he's had a terrible pit stop for some reason. Not quite sure how that's happened because he was well out ahead of Langman, and he was right with Rosberg before the pit stop cycle. However, he's turned out down in 7th. I wonder if he was held in the pits. He can't have had he might have had a 5-second penalty for a collision at some point. But, oh, he sped in the pits again. There you go. Yeah. Did he say sped in the pits? I didn't quite. I think he did. As Conor Eddy retires in the pit lane, so that should be okay. There you go. Well, there's your answer. KJ's dropped down because of that. Held in the pits. There we go. Not sped. I was wondering how he managed to serve a speed in the pit lane penalty, but there you go. Questions answered. As KJ is down in 7th at the moment, but Bursting Zeus is leading this race, by the way. He's under pressure from all-rounder at the moment, but this is not going to be a pass with particular note, because Bursting Zeus still has to make a pit stop in this race, and he doesn't need to go to second. But meanwhile, in the background, Hawks has gone up in the inside. He's into second place, net second place, should I say, with Shadow down in 3rd now. So this is really big for Hawks. He may be able to chase down all-rounder if he can get past Zeus quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, Zeus will be, well, obviously seen by all-rounder getting past. He wasn't particularly challenging him for the position, so hopefully Hawks can get past him on this Wellington straight coming up, or even he'll get out of the way on the exits of this loop corner. And, well, he's just been held up just a little bit, but all-rounder is still within sight, just around the second on the road. And, well, Burson Shoes opens DRS, but Hawks is going to have it in mode 4, and, well, Zeus has got it in mode 2, and that's, well, Shadow's got his ERS turned absolutely all the way down to try and save as much as possible, because he's running quite a bit low. Here's the Williams, but BMG Hawks getting past Bursting Shoes quite quickly there, and, well, so his Shadow is going to cruise around the outside of the Renault before Cops Corner. There's a cracking camera angle there, and the car's heading over the inside curve at Cops Corner. But just going to mention it one more time. Ooh. Shadow, he's not got any ERS left at all, has he? He's got 10%, and well, his management this race has been absolutely shocking. Compare it to Hawks, he's got around 50. Allround has got about half of that, 30%. But it is quite hard to save ERS around here, considering there isn't many heavy braking zones. There's a slight braking zone here. You've got turn 3. With the loop section, but apart from that, you haven't really got much at all, have you? So in some ways, it is quite understandable.
It is understandable. It's easy to say that their ERS management has been shocking, but he's been, I think, to be honest, he's trying very hard right now to stay in this group, and if you lose the DRS as we've seen, then you really are done for. So he's trying very hard to make sure he keeps it right now, but on the contrast to that, as Hawks just gets the DRS here of all-rounder, so the race is back on for the lead here, and these guys up front are going to be pushing very hard. Hawks has been sitting behind Crescito for most of that stint, just putting it in 0. I've seen him on the Wellington straight. Before they've even gone under the bridge, he's in 0. He's just saving a lot, and he was approaching on 100%. That is why he was able to use so much on the overcut, because he was just sat behind Crescito for so long. He had so much in the bank that he just unleashed it all on that one lap, and he was able to make it work. It's paying off for him right now, because he's got a lot to use on all-rounder as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, Hawks has, well, Shadow's got 3% now left of his ERS, and, well, is beginning to run down a complete whole tank. And, well, I don't know how the game works, but I'm pretty sure when you get below 10%, it starts to, well, just not really use as much, does it? Because you definitely notice that in your straight line speed. But Hawks, although he's got more ERS than all-rounder, he's managed to maintain that. He's managed to get within 1 second of the Force India man. And, well, that's going to be crucial for Hawks' race because, well, there's, 13 laps to go. So, yeah, it's going to be crucial. And, well, looks like we're going to be seeing some battling for the lead towards the end of this race.
Yeah, they could well be, but talking of which, the penalty situation could be crucial as well, because All-Rounder's got one, whereas his rivals around him haven't. Hawks, Shadow and Crescito all without penalties so far, so if Hawks just keeps it on the road here and stays right here, then he's going to win provisionally, but he's on 2 warnings, so he's going to need to be careful, and he might want to win on the road anyway, because A, it's the best feeling, and B, it's safer, because if you get your walk on the last lap and you've got no time to respond at all, then you're going to end up shooting yourself in the foot and losing the race. So he might want to get through anyway. I think he's too far back on this occasion, but we are having a very good racing prospect here, and there's also a nice little group forming around CRL Rosberg, KJ and Langman, who's had an absolutely fantastic medium tyre stint. He wasn't looking that good on the soft, but he's starting to come into his own here, and he's in 8th for the moment, approaching his teammate. And yeah, they're both approaching CRL Rosberg.
Yeah, no, well, I think this is the first time KJ's actually managed to, well, continue in the race above, I don't know, lap 5? Quite a long time.
Yeah, for lap 3. Yeah, he gets down the inside into first corner. My goodness me, it could have been the end of it there as Langman's going to follow him through. KJ gets a little bit defensive on Zeus and dives it down the inside. Langman, the 2 Toro Rossos may be battling each other in a moment. Langman very close to KJ. We'll see if he can get the real run that he needs here. KJ without the DRS to defend himself. He breaks the slipstream, and I don't think Langman's very interested in overtaking him because he just wants to stick behind, and maybe they can both attack CRO Rosberg together rather than Langman just attacking KJ now and then both shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, definitely. And well, KJ's only 1.5 seconds off Rosberg, isn't he? So he only needs to gain around 5 more tenths of a second, and he's going to be within that precious DRS zone of the 1 second buffer, and it's going to absolutely drag KJ along and obviously bring Langman with him. JJ Rock's going to be the next person to claim, just get past Zeus, basically. I tried to be fancy with words there, but it's just not gone well, has it? Let's be honest. Tetsun Shadow, though, is starting to regain a little bit of DRS, and he's catching up to the back of Hawks and All-Rounder. Hawks has managed to close the gap and pretty much half it to the Force India man in front as the Haas driver, and well, it's certainly looking a lot better for his race now. And well, considering he has come from 4th, and he's made a couple of positions up to get where he is now. And if he does win this race, then well, it's going to be even better for his championship, because it's going to be a good 30 something points clear heading into the next round, which I'm not too sure where it is. Rex, if you could find out and pop into the chat, that would be brilliant.
All very wide for Shadow, though. We're just complimenting him for getting back into this race. He just goes a little bit wide through Brooklands there. It doesn't matter if you go wide through Luffield, mind you, because it's a double apex corner anyway, so you can kind of cut back for a late one and then get the run anyway. But yeah, so 10 laps to go at the line, and if I was Shadow, I would stick behind and save my ARF now, because I know that he will be struggling if he tries to. He'll be struggling later on in the race, is what I'm trying to say, because I don't think he's quite got the cutting-edge pace of All-Rounder and Hawks right now, as Hawks is just very minimally using his ERS, and he's saving up towards 75% for him at the moment. All-Rounder just over 50, and that is very interesting, because Hawks is going to be able to use it all towards the end of this race, and I don't think Shadow is really going to have the resources to stick with these front two. Personally, I think it's a battle between All-Rounder and Hawks, but maybe if they trip over each other, then Shadow could take the glory here.
Yeah, definitely. And well, if Shadow does manage to claim anything from all-rounder and the Hawks' mistakes, then he's going to be really happy with himself. He's now got 40% of his ERS. I wouldn't have thought that from a couple of laps ago. And well, he's doing as you said, Ewan. He's sat behind Hawks and all-rounder, and he's managed to recharge his ERS. He's not using it on the straight. I think he started to learn sort of how to use it midway through this race. Cyril Rosberg, though, 3-second time penalty. But that's going to play quite crucial towards the end of this race because, well, he's going to drop behind not just KJ, but Langman and, well, if JJ Roxo is up, then potentially him as well.
Yeah, it just depends on the other two situation though, because Langman has got a penalty and 2 warnings, so he's not going to get ahead of Langman. And KJ is on 2 warnings, so he's teetering on the edge of adhesion at the moment. He could get one towards the end of this race because we've still got about 9.5 laps to go as we come through Magus and Beckett's for the 17th time right now. So it's very possible that more penalties before some of these guys, but it definitely looks between these top 3 at the moment as all-rounder just a little bit defensive on that occasion. He's really trying to save here. It's holding everybody up. It's allowing everybody to save, and it's just really the waiting period before we get to the real finale of this race where the battles are really going to kick off.
Yeah, absolutely, and well, we're just going to have to wait and see for any more battles later on in this race, but well, I'll tell you what, we won't be getting one soon because Hawks is only a couple of tenths behind all-rounder, and well, he's going to be potentially getting past ever so shortly. All-rounder making a few mistakes and a big slide on the exit of the loop, and that is going to open the door for Hawks to get through. Here he goes round the outside for Hawks. Can he take the lead? It's on the outside. Can he do it? They make contact into Brooklyn, sorry, round Luffield, and they go. Well, Shadow trying to get a bit of a run there on the 2, on the Force India and the Haas driver, but well, he's going to hold on for just a little bit longer. Is VSR all-rounder.
He is. There was contact, but the Hawks was really never quite far alongside enough for him to really make it work, because obviously when you do go around the outside through Brooklands, you've got the inside for Luffield, so it can work out. Oh, Shadow with a penalty there, so all-rounder and Shadow equal on penalties, and Hawks is teetering on the edge of one. He's got 2 warnings at the moment, and it looks like all-rounder still needs to pull that 3-second margin if he wants to win this race. So they're currently hoping that either Hawks gets a penalty or they get a 3-second time penalty, or that he gets a 3-second. Did I just say the same thing twice? I think I did. But anyway, all-rounder's going to have to pull 3 seconds in the current situation is what I'm trying to say. But Hawks doesn't. He just needs to sit here. He can easily sit here and take the race win right now. But as I said earlier, it is a risk, because if you get one on the last lap, then you've got basically no time to respond. But it definitely looks like Hawks is strongest in this slow speed section just before the Wellington straight, and all-rounder's rear tyres don't look the healthiest at the moment. He looks like he's struggling for traction just a little bit, but we haven't quite seen the run that he got last lap for Hawks.
Yeah, absolutely, and well, he's stuck behind all-rounder for another, well, it's going to be 7 laps when they get to the line, and well, he's definitely got the pace, hasn't he, Hawks? Well, you haven't seen it for all season. We've been here for the pre-season and I think one other race besides that, but yeah, he's definitely a fast driver, isn't he, Hawks?
Yeah, he definitely is, and I've seen him quite a few times now. Particularly strong in qualifying, probably stronger in qualifying than in the race, arguably, but he's doing very well in the races in this league, in RGL, of course, and not finished below 2nd yet this season, which is a very big feat indeed. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic from him so far. So 7 laps to go when we get to the line. It's these 3, all-rounder, Hawks, Shadow, all battling, and they've got a 3-second margin over the chasing pack, which is basically just Cressito, but I don't think he'll be playing his way into this race. He may get a podium if he can, but I think that is the best he can hope for. I think he's probably, unless something disastrous happens up here, he's probably out of the running for the race win.
Yeah, definitely, and well, just starting to see the pressure build up on all-rounder, and it's not something I thought I'd be seeing. Obviously, for those who don't know, he's an ex F1 esports driver, isn't he? Back from 2017, and well, he's starting to feel the pressure of Hawks. He tries to move to the inside, and well, he's running. They both run wide there into Brooklands, now into Luffield, and well, Shadow's all over the back of him, and well, he's managed to get 50% of his ERS now, and Hawk's waving all over the place. He's definitely not happy, is he? But Hawks, if I was him, he's got 70% of his ERS. I'd be using that, going in overtake for a lap, and well, trying to catch up to the back of him and really, put a challenge towards him.
You say, when you said that Shadow is on the back of Hawks, he literally was. He actually hit him through the Buffield section, and Hawks got a little bit loose halfway around, and that's what the weave was all about when he came out of the corner. So he wasn't pleased with Hawks, and that may, in hindsight, have cost him the race. It probably won't just yet. It's not a defining moment because, as he said, he's got so much ERS to play with that he can just catch back up to all-rounder, but it's not something that he wanted to use his ERS on, because he was just happily following along with all-rounder, and unfortunately he's going to have to use some of that ERS that he's saved up to actually catch back up to him when he feels that he didn't need to. So 9/10 at the moment. It looks like all-rounder is pushing hard to try and get him out of the DRS, and this is smart from all-rounder. The adapting situation here, he's tried to seize this opportunity. He didn't make this opportunity himself, of course, but he's trying to capitalise on it. Now it's presented itself.
Yeah, it has. And well, you were saying, weren't you, before, that Shadow, if he can, if Hawks and all-rounder start to trip over each other, which, in all fairness, they have started to do a little bit, he could capitalise on it. And well, what have we just seen? He caught up to the back of BMG Hawks, and well, nearly challenged for an overtake for second.
Yeah, he did, and that really would have been a dramatic moment. But as I said earlier, Shadow is having to use a lot of his ERS just to stick with Hawks. I don't think he has got the pace of Hawks or all-rounder for that matter, and he's really struggling to stay with these guys at the moment in that Williams. Obviously the dirt, won't be helping him, especially through that section there, Magnus and Beckett, but it won't be, it's obviously he gets a slipstream, so it should counteract itself pretty much. But Hawks just reeling in all-rounder again then, and we're going to have 5 laps to go at the line, and I'm sure we're going to see a fantastic battle here. Although saying that, Hawks still hasn't got this penalty, so he could easily follow along here. But looking by his body language at the car right now, I don't think he's settling for second just for now.
I don't blame him. I'd be going for the win if I could.
Well, yeah, true. That is
sure,
true.
I'd say you'd be going for the win, but well, it's not really going to happen.
That's not going to happen. Well, it doesn't often happen on F1. No, it really doesn't.
Possibly.
Yeah, definitely. I used to be good at that, but I'm bad at both now. So sorry about that. I don't know what I'm saying. Sorry, none of you care. But just under 5 tenths now then into Brooklands and Luffield for the 22nd time of asking, and these guys have nailed it once again, of course. That's why they're up the front at the moment, as it looks like just send it and Guppy line are getting a little bit close at the moment. This for a couple of points. Just send it looking to double his points tally here from 10th to 9th, of course. We'll see if anything happens down here at Brooklands, because it might well do. It looking like a very good overtaking opportunity, this this 180-degree switchback here at Brooklands, but not really on this occasion for those guys. So jumping up back up front then, and nothing happening up here either just yet. Doesn't look like Shadow can really do anything. He's absolutely on his knees in terms of ERS, down to 3% down the straight, but all-rounders around 30, and Hawks is also around 30, so it's getting quite close, and these guys are getting pretty desperate right now.
Yeah, they are. Something to note though, KJ's managed to catch up to the back of Cyril Rosberg. I didn't notice that, and well, he's managed to do it kind of incognito style, hasn't he? If you would say that. Well, they're all both on the same age compound, same age tyres, and on the same compound of tyres, so there's nothing really to be gained in there. It's just going to be pure driver skill and, well, of course, car setup, because, well, if you've got an absolutely rubbish setup, then you're not going to go anywhere, are you? But, yeah, KJ all over the back of Cyril Rosberg then, and, well, he's going to be looking to get an overtake sometime soon as they head onto the Wellington Straight. Going to open the DRS, heading down towards Brooklands, and, well, Rosberg not really putting up a fight. He's obviously seen that KJ is faster. Or is he going on the outside? Surely not. And, well, yeah, definitely not. And because, well, I don't think I've ever seen anybody overtake around there, apart from real life, potentially. I'm not too sure.
Possibly. Oh, my goodness. It could be a little bit sweaty into Cops, though. And very strange line there from KJ, although he was kind of forced to because of this battle. They could be going side by side here through Magnus and Beckett, so that would have been exciting. but Rosberg decides it's probably not the best option, and well, he's probably right, to be honest. It's not really an ideal place to overtake, but Langman is looking a little bit threatening on the back of these guys, as well as Rosberg also looking threatening, although he's turned everything down, so he's not going to be making any moves into Stowe, and doesn't look like Hawks is making any moves just yet either, as Adam R just sets the fastest lap of the race. I'm not sure how that's happened because, oh yeah, he's a lap down car, that's why. That's Bursting Zeus that Hawks is just driving through right now. That'll be quite distracting. That'll be something that he doesn't need, and it's going to be distracting for Shadow as well, as it's all getting, oh, more wide for all-rounder now. Oh, Bursting Zeus is around there. All kinds of chaos going on here, and all-round is going to go defensive. They're going to hit the side-by-side to Brooklyn to just 3 laps to go. Here we go then. All-round is going to try and hold on to, oh, there's contact. All-round has had a half spin, and here comes Shadow on the inside to Luffield. There could be 2 positions dropped for all-rounder here. These guys are battling on track, don't forget, because they both have a penalty, and that is a disaster for all-rounder. He needed to hang on from Hawks for as long as possible there, and he hasn't been able to.
No, he hasn't. One thing he has got though is ERS, and plenty of it, as they're going to have 2 laps to go when they get to the line. And well, that's definitely not what all-rounder needed. And well, the race has started to fall back from him, as he's just lost a couple of seconds there and a couple of places. He's not really gaining much on Shadow though, as well, that's quite surprising. Well, unless Shadow's running a particularly low downforce setup, and well, you don't really need much downforce around this track, although there are a couple of high-speed corners to go to suit. But yeah, something noticing about all-rounder now is he's starting to drop off the back of Shadow. So have his tyres fallen off the cliff, or was he just well, was Hawks and Shadow just sandbagging a bit, and now they've decided to unleash it all and have a little have a sprint finish to the line?
Well, quite possibly. I think the tyre, or maybe actually fuel, is a bit of a problem for all-rounder right now, because I've seen that the yellow fuel marker, the little icon down in the bottom right, at certain moments he's dipping below the fuel that he needs to get to the end of the race, and with only 2 laps to go, that is not ideal when you want to be attacking the cars in front of you and not defending. But Shadow is not going to be defending from anybody here, because he's looking very threatening at the moment. Hawks still without a penalty though, and Shadow has got one now. So well, he got one quite a few laps ago, actually, around about 10 laps ago, but he's not holding back, and that's probably another warning right there with that cut. And Shadow is going to be very threatening here. He's below 10% on the ERS. He's still in the overtake mode. We'll see if he actually goes for the lead here. He's closing in, but Hawks is going to fend off. 1 lap to go when we get to the line then. This is going to be quite an exciting finish, but Hawks without a penalty, should I say, should be able to hold on here. Look at all-rounder though. This is the battle for second, because both Shadow and all-rounder have a penalty so far in this race. So they're going to be battling on the track. Here we go, turn number 1. All-rounder looking very fast through here, as it looks like Shadow is almost out of the ice, almost pushing him through turn number 2. Here he goes down the inside into turn 3, nearly contact once again, and he'll be having flashbacks to that battle with Hawks, where he nearly had he's had another half spin there. He's kicking the tail out now as well. Dearie me, it's all getting a little bit feisty up the front. Hawks has got a 1 second margin now, and that could be all he needed. That could also be all that all-rounder needed, because it means that Shadow is not going to have the DRS down into Stowe, and that will mean that all-rounder's task to get past is going to be just a little bit easier, although Shadow on the grass is going to make his task a little bit easier as well, as they come towards Cops. Now flying through here once again, all-rounder having to deal with the dirty air, of course, and he does so, as he has been for most of this race, or most of the latter portion of the lap, should I say. Oh, Shadow gets another penalty on the final lap, and that is really going to put pay to his chances of second place. He's in the DRS, he's got the ERS, and he's not got much left, but he's trying, but I don't think he can do it. All-rounder should be able to get second here if he doesn't run out of fuel, that is, and that could be a worry for him in the latter portion of this race. But into the final chicane, Shadow has a go at him, but Hawks come through the final couple of corners to win the British Grand Prix. It's the 3rd race win in RGL Season 4 for Hawks. All-rounder comes home second. Shadow is going to be 3rd. No, Casito beats him to it. by half a second in the end. Shadow 4th, KJ manages a 5th position, Rosberg in 6th, Langman 7th, but Hawks never really in doubt in the latter portion of that race because he didn't get any penalties, and when you don't get any penalties, you don't drop down any positions, and Hawks has just shown it to us there. I can imagine he wasn't worried about those last few laps at all.
Yeah, definitely. And well, just watching the final couple of people come across the line, then Grumpy line and just having an amazing battle. It has to be said in the final sort of portion of this race. But Max Asher is going to be the final person to come across the line in P11.
He is, and they have it, a third race win this season for BMG Hawks, and he's going to extend that championship lead by 7 points to all-rounder. It's going to go from 23 to 30, which is pretty large after only 4 rounds. So everyone's going to have a job on their hands to try and chase him down in this one, because as we said earlier, he's not finished below second yet, and he's continuing on in that way. But an exciting race coming down to the last few laps, and it really did. And we nearly saw a lead change, but Shadow had a go at him, couldn't get anywhere, and he wouldn't have mattered anyway because Hawks had no penalties. It ended up winning him the race, but there you go. Hawks in a commanding position now, Ollie, and it's hard to see anybody really challenging him for this championship at this point.
Yeah, absolutely, and well, he's starting to really walk away with it, isn't he now? And well, he's really becoming a dominant force in league racing overall, and well, definitely in this league as well. So he's going to take the win today ahead of VSR Allrounder and Crisito. That's your top 3 for today. Shadow, KJ Gamer, Cyril Rosberg, Langman, 17, BOG JJ Rocks, Grumpy Align, and just send it round out your top 10. Then you got Mex Ashes was the last of your finishers, apart from Bursting Juice, I beg your pardon. Adamar, excuse me. Adamar disconnected in P12, and then Adam Lee, Connor Eddy were your disconnections.
Why is Crisito here? Did I invite the wrong person? Oh yeah, because Crisito got a podium on the penalties and I've forgotten already. There you go, you've just got a view of how bad my memory is. Short-term memory loss. All-rounders here, just waiting on Hawks as well, because he won. So I'd like to go in numerical order, but it may not be possible. We might just start with all-rounder and wait for Hawks to get here. But we'll just give him a few more moments before we begin. But yeah, as I said, we'll just talk to the podium drivers before we round off for the day. Well, it looks like Hawks is going to be a little while. So we'll start with all-rounder first. In second place here today. Just talk us through this last part of your stint, because you had a penalty for most of that stint. So were you aware that Hawks didn't have one, and were you aware of the situation that you would probably have to pull 3 seconds on Hawks if you were going to win, or didn't you know any about that at all?
I knew he had no penalty because obviously I asked Jeff like midway through the race, and then I knew he had no penalty. My thought was that that I was hoping for Shadow to attack him, so they maybe get into a fight and I can clear off. But that really, did not work out like I planned it to do. But overall, I'm very happy with that. It was a great race with them too. I'm not gonna lie, it was good fun to race against them. Some overtaking, some battling. So it was something different, I would say, compared to other races where you have just the S trains without fighting or something. So overall, GG to Hawks and also Crisito then on the podium. All 4 of us, I would say, had very good pace today. So.
Yeah, definitely. Just talk us through your pace in qualifying as well. Were you pleased or surprised by that pole position, or were you expecting to be strong in qualifying?
No, I was expecting to be like second or first row, something like that. But on my last run, I got a cut in maggots and I needed to slow down, so my pole lap was on the second run on those tires actually, and then I was quite happy with that time. So yeah, it was a good lap.
Well, it put you in a good position and you managed to convert with a second place, so congratulations on that and good luck for next week as well. Now we're
Thank
going
you.
to go in a slightly strange order. That was all rounder in second. We're going to go back up to Hawks in first because he joined a little bit later, but he's here now, so we can talk to our race winner and championship leader, don't forget. Now, having won 3 of the 4 races this season, you must be pleased to have ticked off another one there, Hawks, because that was a tough race, that.
Yeah. Didn't do much practice, like 2 hours or something, not more. Yeah, great race pace. And good battling with all around and Tom. I really don't know what to say.
You can't remember what
I'm
happened
so
about
bad
any of
at
that, can you?
interviews.
Yeah, I can tell you so did about that. Just talking through what your strategy was coming into the pit stop window, because you were kind of stuck in behind the likes of Crescito and Shadow and all round before the pit stops. And you went for the unconventional overcut, which I initially thought wasn't going to work, but you ended up managing to pay it. It paid off for you in the end. So just talk through what your thinking was during the pit stop cycle.
I actually missed the pit lane. I wanted to pit in lap 8, but I thought it was lap 7. So yeah, and then luckily I had 100% EOS, so I wasted like 50% of that. So yeah, and I came out ahead of Crescito. Really didn't expect that.
Well, yeah, well, I wasn't expecting it either, to be fair. So, well done on it, really. And another race win for you. Now, you've still not finished below second in this season yet, which is quite a remarkable statistic. But congratulations and good luck for next week as well. Now, moving down the podium to P3 and Crescito. Quite a lonely second half of the race for you, really. Just talk us through what your pace on the mediums was like, because you were kind of running out on your own for most of it. So were you struggling on those tyres, or what? Or did you just lose it because you didn't have DRS for most of it? So were you just struggling with that, or what was really going on there?
Yeah, Oaks did the overcut, so he passed me. Then I made a few mistakes that cost me DRS, so I couldn't stay with them more without DRS. But the beginning of the race on softs was very intense. We were all 4 right behind us, right behind the all-rounder. So yeah.
So are you pleased with that outcome in the end? It's another a high placing result for you. Is it an acceptable result for you, or were you hoping for a second or a first today?
No, third is very good. I was I just managed to not take penalties, and at the end, on the last lap, Shadow took one, so he deserved more the podium than me, I think.
Well, by virtue of the fact that you didn't get any penalties, which is quite impressive around Britain, let's not forget, you managed to get a P3 there. So congratulations on that, and good luck to next week as well. Now, next week, of course, we will have round 5 of season 4 of RGL. Make sure you join us once again. It will be 7:30 on Saturday, of course, and you'll be able to catch the next round of RGL. But until then, goodbye.